Hi, I'm Andy Grabner, part of the Keptn team, and I just finished a new tutorial called Multi-Stage Delivery with Keptn and Argo Rollouts. Check it out. This is a quick overview. Now, why have we built this? Because Argo Rollouts is really great in blue, greens, and Canary deployments with their operator. Keptn, on the other hand, brings a lot of things around delivery. Automated testing, automated validation, automated notifications, automated monitoring configuration, which Argo Rollouts itself doesn't bring, which you would need to bring in anyway through other tools. So what the tutorial includes is really a way to show you how Keptn and Argo Rollouts can be used to roll out new versions, then use the Canary capability as well as the blue-green capability. Keptn can then bring in automated testing with different testing tools, can also make sure that your observability is correctly configured, whether this is Prometheus or any other tool. We'll then do some advanced SLO validation continuously with every rollout. And then with our promotion assistant, allowing you to say, do you want to automatically promote into the next Canary phase? Do you want to roll it back? Or do you want to have this automatically decided? Or do you want to actually have a human to still make a decision depending on your SLO validation? Keptn, as you probably know, is an event-driven system. That means you can also integrate your JetOps tools, and we can also do all of this multi-stage. All right, so this is kind of the overview of the tutorial. Check it out. Now, quickly, I have followed the tutorial. So if you go to the tutorials page, this is exactly what I'm showing you. I have followed all of my instructions here. This is part of my tutorial series, Keptn on K3s. So the only thing I need is really a Linux instance. In my case, it's an EC2 instance. And then I walk through all the different steps to just install it. Now I have just installed it. You can obviously install this on any Kubernetes cluster, but I just ran my installation script. The tutorial installs several use cases. The one we are focusing on right now is the one that's called Canary delivery use case with Argo rollouts. So this is the section of the demo. The first thing I want to do is I actually want to kick off a deployment of my build number one. I have a sample application with 4 different builds, and I'm now telling Keptn, please trigger the automation sequence for delivering this particular version, start in staging, and then go on. Now, let me quickly walk over to Keptn. So this is my Keptn install. The tutorial, as I say, includes multiple use cases. The one we are focusing on right now is the demo rollout. Before I go into this project, check out this here. Keptn internally holds a Git repo for every single project. And I've also included Git as a Git client, which means we have here access to all of the different Git repositories, right? So under Keptn, these are all the different projects. And the one we're looking at right now is the demo rollout. You see here the shipyard that I've used. This is the shipyard file that specifies what are the different automation sequences that I want Keptn to automate. I decided to do a 2-stage delivery. In staging, I want to do some delivery where I want Keptn to first configure my monitoring as code. Then I want to do a deployment. Then, because it's a blue-green deployment, I want to release the blue-green. Then I want to run some tests, some evaluations. And then I want to have the smart approval assistant to always ask me whether it should go into the next stage. In case anything goes wrong, we do a rollback. If everything goes well, we go into prod, where we again have a delivery stage that is triggered on the success of my staging delivery, where we again do deployment, test, evaluation, approval, and then it goes into the individual Canary phases. So this is the shipyard file. Check it out. Very important, because this is an Argo example. If you know Keptn, then Keptn creates a branch for every stage. So for staging, I have my one service that I've onboarded called Simple Node. Keptn is organized that every service has its own subfolder. And in here, we have the configuration specific files for the individual tools that we use. So for instance, Argo rollouts are specified in Helm charts. So I have a Helm chart, and in my template file, I do have my rollout definition here for my service. So let me click on rollout. So you can see here, this is for staging for my simple node environment. And here I'm using a blue-green strategy with the active and the preview service. Now, if I quickly switch over to my production, in production, I'm not using blue-green. I've decided to use an Argo rollout with Canary strategy with these steps. Now, the nice thing is Keptn takes care of the deployment, because Keptn can trigger Helm. And then we have a Keptn Argo's integration, Keptn Argo Rollout integration that takes care of the individual step promotion. In between, it will do testing, it will do evaluation, and it will then include the smart delivery assistant, where we either do automated promotion or we can also ask a human being. Now let's have a quick look at what Keptn is doing so far. Let's look into the project demo rollout. We have staging. We see delivery is currently going on. So this is the overview of my stages. So I get a feeling what's happening across stages. I also have a service specific view. I have my simple node view. And I can see here that in staging, something is currently happening. Here, I would only see the information that is really necessary for me to make a quick decision of what's going on. I see my quality gate evaluations. I see any approval steps. If I click on few sequences, you can see we're switching over to few sequences. I can now see every individual task that I specified in my automation sequence. It started with configuring my monitoring, doing the deployment, releasing, testing A, and the evaluation just completed with 100%, which is great. Now let me actually show you, I completely forgot about that. I have a little file here that shows me on the left side what's happening in staging right now. On the right, I have 4 iframes that are constantly refreshing and show me what's in production. Now nothing is in production right now because this is build number 1. Let me approve build number 1 now because it seems we have achieved 100 points. So we can now approve it through the smart approval assistant into production, which means now the Keptn workflow continues. Keptn is now moving into the production stage, and in production is executing the individual deployment sequences or automation sequences that I've specified, starting with deployment, which in my case triggers Helm. Now, if I go back over to my file here, right, we can now see, because these are refreshing every 3 seconds here, I can see build number 1 is currently deployed in production already. Now, this is pretty much it for the build number 1, because with Argo rollouts, whether you do blue-green, well, that's clear, but for Canary, so the first will automatically be promoted to 100% of your replica set. I will let this run through all the way, and once this is done, I come back, show you the result at the end, and then we go to build number 2. All right, I quickly click on pause here. All right, Keptn finished testing in production. Everything is good. Now it gives me the approval option because that's what I specify. But remember, build number 1 is a complete rollout anyway already. So there's nothing really I need to approve. We're all good here. Let's go and deploy build number 2. I'll deploy it again or kick off the automation through the Keptn CLI. Now remember, I could also do all of this through the Keptn API. This would allow you to integrate Keptn with your, let's say, Jenkins, GitLab, Azure DevOps. We see a lot of users do this because we have an API that does the same thing in the backend. Now let's see what's happening now. I just kicked off build number 2. Monitoring as code has kicked in, configuring monitoring, deployment happened, which means, let's see, here we go. Build number 2 is already in staging. Remember, this is just my sanity check of 5 iframes on the left staging, on the right 4 in production. I just see what's happening. It's a refresh of every 3 seconds. This will be reloaded. Now, I will pause again here and see if Keptn thinks that build number 2 is good enough to be deployed into production. Because remember, now tests are executed, quality gates, SLO-based quality gates are evaluated, and then I get a notification whether I should or should not, or I can or cannot deploy or promote into this next stage. All right, I'll be back in a second. And we're back, and we can see that build number 2 is still in staging, not in production. Why? Well, actually, we will never get there because Keptn told us that this build is no good for production. We only achieved 50 points, which means if you have a look at it, this is the overview of our SLO evaluation, the quality gate, and we can see here that error rate is at 12.5%, and the criteria, though, is 1%. This is why Keptn says this is no good build at all, and in this case, we don't even get the option to promote it. This is the way we have configured the smart deployment assistant. So in our case, what we do, and this was also, and first of all, intended build number 2 had this built-in problem to really show you that Keptn can be used multi-stage to stop bad builds early on. Now let's try build number 3 and see if build number 3 is worthy to go all the way in. Build number 3, let's kick it off. Let's also have a quick Go back to demo rollout, right? This is also nice here. We always get a nice overview about what's currently running in production, what's happening in staging. The service overview, I cannot stress this enough. This is really great because we can see build number 1, build number 2, build number 3. We get the history, we get the high level overview of what's important. Like I get the SLO results here, I immediately see in staging, there's just no way that this build goes into the next stage. Now, build number 3 is going on. We will see the high level overview here soon. If you want to see the details, let's click on view sequence and we see exactly what Keptn is currently executing. And last sanity check before I go into a quick pause, build number 3 is in staging. I will pause here until build number 3 is tested in staging and then we'll release it to production. And we are back. Build number 3 has made it through the quality gate. We achieved again 100%. So this build is good to go and we can approve it. Now I'll show you, we can either approve it here. I told you the overview here on the service level also makes it rather easy because we see the quality gate in a better overview immediately and then approval. So now we approved build number 3 into the next stage, which means it should start in production with, remember, deployment, then testing, then evaluation, and then in this case, it is a Canary rollout. So what we should already see, if we go over here, we have a 25% rollout phase for the first phase, which means on average now, because these are 4 kind of iframes, I should see about 1 lighting up with build number 3. And yeah, this is now the first phase. The first phase will take about 2-3 minutes because Keptn will run some tests, will then evaluate, and based on that, again, give me a decision, do you want to continue with the rollout? Here, I'm also going to show you the smart delivery assistant. So let me stop here until Keptn is done with the first phase of testing. All right, and we are back. Keptn has finished on production. That is the first rollout. We got a 100% quality gate and we got an approval. So we can approve it to roll out further. Now, this is something I've built into the shipyard file. Now, remember, if I go back, the shipyard file is what defines all of the different sequences. So you can check it out, shipyard YAML. This is where I've specified my staging, delivery, automation sequence. In production, I've also specified for delivery, hey, start with the deployment, then run some tests. Now the deployment will immediately roll out for the first 25%. Then an evaluation will happen. And then here I have an approval. And I've specified it to manual. If I want to, I could even say, if it's pass, immediately approve it so that the next Canary phase starts. I just showed you that this is an option here where you can configure the approval process to have more human interaction or less human interaction, but everything is based on the result of the previous evaluation. So now, going back to Keptn, I've approved it. Now Keptn goes into what I've called Canary phase 1. You can call this whatever you want. I've called it Canary phase. Technically, it's kind of the second Canary phase already because we are in the second wave, which means now I should see a higher chance of more yellow, more build number 3, because now we are going to 50%. All right, good. Let me pause once more and I'll see you in a couple of seconds. And we're back, and you can see now build number 3 is completely rolled out in production. Now let's have a quick look at what Keptn has been doing. Remember, we kind of went into Canary phase 1, Canary phase 2. Now we're in Canary phase 3 already. There's still some tests going on. But let me also show you the release task here is the one that is actually interacting with Argo Rollout. That's the Argo service that we've created. And what we do here, this is the service that is then advancing to the next step. So in this case, we're basically doing a promotion and we also get the output of the rollout. So this was for this particular step. And if we go to the last one here, this should then basically say, hey, we are at step 6 from 6, and it is just switching over from the remaining pods that are still on build number 1 to build number 3, right? So this is really cool. Now, I really encourage you, go and run the tutorial. Also run build number 4, because with build number 4, you will find also a new use case, something surprising, something, it makes it in production, but maybe there's some issues in production. And then you see the power of Keptn rolling back in the middle of a Canary rollout. Give us feedback, join us on the Keptn Slack, And together, I think we can even make this better, come up with some new use cases. But shout out to the Argo team, great stuff that they're building. Shout out to the Keptn team, amazing stuff. Together, we can truly bring value to those people that need to automate multi-stage delivery with automated testing, automated evaluation, and all the integrations with your different tools that you have in your pocket. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.